everyone, welcome back to the cruise with Esther. My name is Esther Eguavoen, and today's video is actually one of those that that truly sits heavy on the heart. A fellow Nigerian, Omoyoma Christopher Okoro, is in the news not just for a past conviction involving a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme, but now for something even deeper, which is an immigration fraud charges that could lead to the loss of his United States citizenship. So as someone who has walked the immigration journey, this story actually made me pause, not to judge, don't get me wrong, but to reflect and to have an honest conversation about what this means for us, which is the immigrant community. So let's start with the facts. On June 17, 2025, the United States Attorney's Office announced that Okoro had been indicted for naturalization fraud. So what's the charge? He allegedly lied on his citizenship application. Specifically, the government says that he answered no to the question, have you ever assisted in committing or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested. But by the time he became a United States citizen in 2018, the Department of Justice claims he had already been involved in serious criminal activity, the kind that, of course, if known, could have disqualified him from naturalizing. So, in 2024, Okoro was sentenced to 100 months in prison, 5 years of supervised release, and he was ordered to pay back over $22.5 million in restitution. So that sentence actually followed a 5-day jury trial in Pennsylvania, where he was actually found guilty of multiple counts of wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, and conspiracy. So, taking us back, what was actually the scam? It was called the Attorney Collection Scheme, and it spanned years from 2006 to 2010. And here is how it's worked. Scammers are there are scammers who were actually pretending to be foreign clients. They would ask U.S. attorneys, they would contact U.S. attorneys asking for legal help to recover money from a supposed settlement or transaction. So once an attorney agreed to help, a fake official check would be mailed. So the attorney would deposit it into their law firm accounts, deduct their fee, and wire the rest overseas. But the checks were fake. And by the time the fraud was discovered, the money had already disappeared, withdrawn from overseas accounts in East Asia. So attorneys were actually left responsible for the losses that was incurred during this period. So evidence actually showed that Okoro, communicating directly with co-conspirators, coordinating payments, confirming when lawyers had sent the money, and even receiving funds from abroad. So guys, as a Nigerian living in the United States, this story actually hits me differently. It's not about one man, it's about the shadow that sometimes falls on an entire community, a community of people who work so hard to live honestly, to raise their children well, and to build a future in a country like the United States. So when something like this happens, it feels like a gut punch, not because we think we are perfect, no, And not because we don't have flaws, but because every time a headline like this goes out, it gets harder for the rest of us. This kind of situations actually plant seeds of doubts in the mind of those who look at our passports, our accents, our names. It doesn't really make us ashamed of where we come from. No, no, no. But it reminds us how easily one person's story can affect many, many people. And if convicted of this new naturalization fraud charge, Okoro could face 30 years in prison and, most importantly, lose his United States citizenship. The legal system doesn't take immigration fraud lightly, especially when tied to major criminal convictions. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is USCIS, has actually made it very, very clear protecting the integrity of the naturalization process is a top priority. It's not just about forms and fingerprints. It's about you saying the truth. So if you're an immigrant actually watching this video, let me tell you something. Your honesty definitely matters. Your story matters. And the system, while tough, gives us a chance. But that chance must be honored with integrity. So don't let fear or shortcuts push you to lie on a form. The consequences can, catch up years and years later. Like Okoro's case, he never knew this would come up at this time. So if you are unsure, you make sure you ask questions. If you have made mistakes in your past, make sure you are honest. There are legal paths, but lying isn't one of them. So guys, let us walk this journey with truth, but trust, build legacy, and that's something that no scam can ever offer. I would love to know what this story, made you feel. Maybe sad, angry, shocked, reflective. Let's talk about it in the comment section, below. We don't need to cancel anyone, but we do need to understand what is happening, why it matters, and how to protect ourselves. If this video, gave you something to think about, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the Cruise with Esther. This is a place or a channel where we talk about immigration, life abroad, and the power of living honestly in a new land. So guys, till next time, make sure you stay hopeful, stay truthful, and stay proud of where you come from. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.